Welcome, everybody, to episode 9 of the Next Generation of Superstars podcast. We're very fortunate to have our guest here, Dimitri Stanley, who is wide receiver at Iowa State University, and he's actually from Denver, Colorado. We share the same hometown. Very notable awards so far, being in 2020 and 2021. He was both team captain, and he has honorable mention wide receiver awards, and now he's playing at Iowa State. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So kind of give a little more context of your background and how you started and your passion for the sport of football and how that came about.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing football since I was about 4 years old. My dad kind of raised me being a football player. He played and spent some time in the league back in his day. And that just kind of motivated me to kind of follow in his footsteps. I actually ended up going and attending University of Colorado, which was his alma mater. Yeah, and it's been a ride since then, man. Just keep on growing every day, and dreams and aspirations of being in the league, which is bound to happen here shortly.
I love it. I love it. We're all rooting for you. And kind of talk a little bit more about, you said your dad was a great role model and mentor for you. Is there anyone else, whether it's been coaches, teammates, friends, anyone else that's kind of been a key icon or role model and you kind of and helped you perfect your craft of the game?
Yeah, I feel like I was blessed enough to have a couple amazing coaches in my life, whether it was high school, AAU. My dad was kind of my coach all through Little League when I was growing up. But yeah, in terms of coaches that I had in high school, Coach Logan at Cherry Creek, Coach B, Coach Jeff, Coach Randy in AAU. Yeah, I mean, all those guys had a huge impact on the way I kind of viewed the game and the way I viewed sports and my mentality and everything. So I feel like that kind of made me the player that I am today, and just keep on building, keep grinding.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And what about, the youth and especially the kids that look up to you and maybe even from your community back home in Colorado? How do you help impact and inspire them to really chase after their dreams, because they see you go from high school and I'll be playing at the collegiate level these past few years? How do you keep on inspiring them to go after it all?
Yeah, even knowing that I'm inspiring little kids is even more motivation and inspiration for me. Anytime that kids hit me up with questions on Instagram or like try and send me messages, I try and respond at least a couple times. I actually had one kid from, it was like Germany or something, that was number 14 and was getting into football and was asking me for tips and what he could do to get better. So just little things like that kind of make it all worth it when you look at the grand aspect of everything. So. Right.
No, it's incredible and amazing that they look up to you in that aspect and be able to inspire them is truly a blessing. And, you mentioned that the kid from Germany wore number 14. I know that's your number. And you also talk a little about the Big 14 Club. Is that kind of your slogan to really, kind of have your overall brand and inside of that? Or what does the Big 14 Club mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, Big 14 is kind of just who I represent, and then the club would just be kind of like the fan base and the people who support me. So yeah, I mean, just because my number is 14, I kind of got that nickname Big 14, and it stuck a little bit. It's my Instagram name and everything, so it's kind of how some of my teammates and friends address me at times. So
I love it. That's awesome. And kind of talk a little bit more about, when you have your daily routine as an athlete, in any level, right, is definitely, it's hard to balance it all, right? And so being in season, even out of season, what are the big differences you've noticed when you try to manage your schedule, to the best of your ability?
From being in season to out of season?
Yeah, and especially, how does it differ, right? In season, what do you do in season that it's a little bit different than what do you do out of season to just maintain, your physical health, mental health, everything else that can, help you be the best you can out there on the field?
Yeah, I mean, in season is so regimented, and everything is scheduled and be here on time, be everywhere on time. Not much time to yourself during the season. It's either filled with class, practice, or meetings, or treatment. But now that we're in the off season, it's kind of opened up, and it's time for you to get back to yourself, just time for yourself and mentally decompress, and at the same time get better physically, build muscle, get faster, work on things that you wanted to work on throughout the season that you felt you needed to be better at. So that's kind of the process and where I'm at right now. Just worked out, got up at 6:30 in the morning today and got my workout in early. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't stop. It's just off season. Get more time to yourself now that class and school is over and everything. So just more time to myself meant to mentally like recover, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's spot on, because that allows you to just work on the things in the off season that can really help you, for when you come in for the following season. What about, for what excites you the most going into the game, right? Obviously you have to have your preparation and then be able to get in the right mindset and in the zone. But what really excites you the most before you actually step on the field and enter the game?
Man, that's a tough question, honestly.
I don't mean to put a tough question on you. Just wanted to hear from your perspective how you get in your own zone and in the flow state of mind when you're
Yeah,
in the game.
yeah, I like that question. It's I would say it's a couple different things. I mean, just knowing that you get to go out there and play the sport that you like. I always dreamed of being where I am right now, playing in front of thousands of fans, and just thinking about that and how far I've come. I mean, it's just, it can make somebody emotional, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain. I kind of just love the game of football. So um, when I get out there, it's kind of like everything, then all the crowd noise, all of that just quiets down, and it's just playing backyard football again. So
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think that's incredible, because that takes a certain skill set to develop, right? It doesn't happen, just right away. I'm sure you've had those, nerves in the beginning when you first stepped on the field, in your collegiate career, even in high school, right? And so then when you've actually done it so many times and the repetition, it turns into that muscle memory where you can actually go out there and just do your thing.
yeah, I was actually telling my parents that it's crazy because I don't feel like I get nervous anymore, and I don't feel like I get those butterflies that I used to get when I was younger, and stepping into that stadium. So I guess that just comes with experience and repetition.
Yep. That's awesome. And kind of switching a little bit into, the educational component, right? How do you go about studying film, and what are some key points you really look for, from that standpoint before actually going in and playing your game?
Yeah, you just look for weaknesses when it comes to your opponent, who you're going one-on-one against, and then weaknesses inside of a defense and things you can exploit to your advantage. It's most of the time coaches and GAs help you through all of that. They kind of install that into the game plan. So they take a lot off of our shoulders, but from a one-on-one standpoint, it's really just about finding ways to exploit your opponent's weakness.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think even going in a little bit further in education, you talked a little bit earlier about, education is such an important component for us at Burst and everything we do in Web3. But let's first talk about the NIL. And I think you being able to experience that as a student athlete, as it's been legitimized a little over a year now. How does that turn into, what are your initial thoughts in the NIL industry in the whole, right? Like, how does that help you when you can actually finally monetize your overall brand and go and get all these different deals in different industries, right? And be able to choose what you want to do and make money from it, and actually be able to get closer to your fans and do more interactive stuff. How does that affect you as a college athlete?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, honestly, being able to kind of connect with the fans on a deeper level, and get out and do some of those things that you weren't able to do in the past. It's just build your brand, monetize your name. Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing for sure, and definitely something that was long overdue. Um, I think it helps with people who come from different circumstances, people that need, um, kind of that extra bit of money and income, cash flow. But yeah, overall, I would say for me, it would just be being able to build my name and get my name out there and grow my fan base and uh, give people somebody that they can root for when it comes to Saturday football. So
I love it. Yep. And I think that's the best, you put it in the best way, right? And it's really just taking full advantage of it and doing everything you can to monetize it to the best of your ability and
mhm.
going out there and seeing what you can do and actually creating, that monetization from your brand. And then tying that into Web3 and how we've been trying to educate, the whole Web3 sports industry of what's happening. And there's so much going on. What are your initial thoughts, even from just having some, little success so far on our partner platform, Virtual Stacks? Where do you see this Web3 sports industry going, and how do you feel about the overall industry as it's emerging in this tech space?
Yeah, from the initial launch and the first auction, um, it made me feel like there's a lot of growth that can be made in this industry, and I definitely see the potential that it has, and um, it's going to grow, get really big, and I'm just glad I can be a part of something that's going to be this big, honestly. So yeah, that's all I got, honestly.
No, it's spot on, and it's so true because there's so many people and even fans, right? It's not just we want to only educate the athletes, the fans and everyone else that's paying attention just to sports in general. That there's so much happening in the industry, and it's going into this whole new realm of tech, and to be at the forefront of that, and especially you that's experiencing firsthand, it just gives you that competitive advantage that others are eager to get into.
Right.
Awesome. Awesome. And so kind of going in, this year's wrapping up, you've had a successful year so far. What are your next goals, or what are you chasing after going into 2023?
Um, Man, a lot of goals ahead, honestly. First goal would just be to focus on the season, have the best season that I could have. I told my boy Xavier Hutchinson that I'm coming for his reception record. Um,
I love it.
yeah, but other than that, it's just making dreams come true, finding a way to make it to that next level, and getting paid by the big guy instead of just NIL deals. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I just feel like that. Yeah, I don't know. This I just feel like NIL just helps set up so much that being able to have fans support me on this journey and on my way into that next transition is just a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of gives you that extra motivation, right? It's showing that like, hey, there's this amount of people that's supporting me, and you just to have that, right? Even just one person just shows you that you're on the right path and you're doing your thing.
Mm.
Um, and so, how many years left do you have of eligibility right now?
I'm going into my last year.
Last year. So then from there you
Yeah,
can decide, which professional level, whether it's NFL or XFL, all these other leagues that are popping up, and which route you want to take that best fits you.
exactly.
Awesome. And what about, talk a little bit more about what's your kind of, do you have other aspirations and interests, especially like after football? Like what are some things that you've always wanted to do? And if football's allowed you to do so, as you have this vehicle that you're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, a big one for me is getting my degree. I was able to get my degree while I was at University of Colorado. Now my goal is to get my master's from Iowa State and take that into a sports psychology kind of master's, and being able football has definitely helped me do that because all of it's been paid for. So um, that's just a blessing that not too many people are fortunate enough to have. So I'm just glad I was able to accomplish something like that by getting my degree and being able to work towards my master's, so that I can eventually help people going through struggles or anything in sports related, or that's sports related. Yeah, I mean, I feel like psychology today is just such a growing um, profession that's needed along, whether it's college sports, high school sports, and even and especially professional sports. And I feel like we keep on seeing instances of that day to day. So yeah, just being blessed enough to be in a position where I might be able to help those people is awesome.
Yeah. It's incredible and amazing that you're able to go and pursue those aspirations, especially getting your degree from CU and now getting masters at Iowa State. Are there any other hobbies or interests that you do in your free time, and especially now that you have more time when you enter the off season? What are some things that you're pretty passionate about that you enjoy?
Man, I like to play the game, honestly.
Love it.
I like to play the game. I like to watch movies. Yeah, and with NIL, I'd actually like to be able to get out and meet fans and do like camps with kids or whatever it is. So um, those are things that kind of just bring me joy in life.
Right. And then hopefully we'll be able to do more of those events, especially with Burst as we do more things in 2023, and hopefully working with us opens up more of those opportunities where you can go and keep doing, events and training programs and different stuff that you've always wanted to do with your fans.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we'll kind of wrap up here with three lessons, and what these three lessons are just what are three things that have really helped you or inspired you the most that you would pass down to the kids watching and the youth watching in our audience that's really helped you get to where you're at today?
Three things that have happened to me, or like three kind of like,
whether it's like life lessons, beliefs, stuff that's really just you lived by and that's really helped shape you into the person and athlete you are today, that's given you that kind of edge and uniqueness.
Okay, I would say stay humble, no matter what you're kind of doing in life. Just stay grounded, stay close, and keep those connections with your friends and family, because at the end of the day, those are going to be the people that have your back 100% of the time.
Yep.
And help you move forward through obstacles that you're facing. Second one would be, I would say, just hard work. I mean, you got to fall in love with the process of getting better. Yeah, I mean, every day every day I'm able to work, I see is like a blessing that some others aren't able to do. At CU, they had taken us to the children's hospital, and I kind of just replay what I see or what I saw back then. Every time I don't feel like getting up and going to work, or because there's kids that would kill to have some of the struggles that I'm going through. So
right.
Keeping that in mind, and that kind of chip on my shoulder every day helps me to get out of bed in the morning. And then three, I would say this has been on my mind more recent, but as things in society go on, but life's short. And I would say you just gotta try and take full advantage of it. Anything that you can do to make your life better, make somebody else's life better, I would say do it, honestly. Kindness goes a long way, and you never know if like how you can affect somebody's life in a positive way. So especially your own. So I'd say just have that mindset and keep growing.
Yep. No, those are all great tips and lessons. And just to rephrase that, you said to stay humble and stay grounded, and then two, hard work. And then hard work's always going to pay off, but you have to actually put in that effort towards it. And then three, to take full advantage of life. And I feel like we've seen a lot of tragic deaths and stuff that's happened in these past couple of years, especially with COVID that's happened. And life is short, and you have to just enjoy every moment you get. We'll wrap up with one last thing, and you being a wide receiver, is there anybody in the NFL right now that you kind of look at them and you say, I want to kind of model my game after them, or I look at them because it inspires me to be better in my position right now?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would say a big one is Justin Jefferson. I mean, what he's doing at such a young age is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely look up to him, and I think if he can do it, I can do it, honestly. So that just definitely brings me motivation, and being so close to that level is motivation enough for me. So
Yep. He's close around your age, and just to see his performance and it shows you that it is possible to do it. And, at any
right.
age. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Dimitri, Stanley here. Thank you again for being on our show, The Next Generation of Superstars. This is episode 9, and look out for Dimitri to have another explosive year coming up in 2023. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.